What is up, you beautiful people? You are very welcome along to Saturday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. Today we're going to be going from the sublime to the quite frankly ridiculous, as one of the journalists has posted a story that nobody in the footballing world, I think, believes. We'll discuss Giovani Leoni and Liverpool's interest there. Are we about to gazump Manchester United and make a bid for Carlos Baleba? Well, one report thinks so. That and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces that we hope keeps you right up to date in this summer's transfer window. Tonight I will be back later than normal, about 9:30 tonight for the late night agenda. And of course, don't forget, tomorrow we start our Community Shield coverage from 2 p.m. If you would like to take part in our player ratings as we do after the game, well, you're going to have to be signed up to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. Scan that QR code there on the screen, and the link to submit your player ratings will be posted in there after the game tomorrow. Right, my friends, loads to get through. Let's start off with the ridiculous, like I was mentioning earlier on. So, Luke Edwards, who, shall we say, has had a mixed bag this summer, and I think I'm being kind there. He said, exclusive! Newcastle United have told Alexander Isak he will not be sold this summer and the move to Liverpool will be blocked, sparking player fury. Yeah, cool story, bro, but let's see how that one pans out, because I can tell you, nobody believes it. Nobody I've spoken to today believes it. Nobody that's read it believes it. Did I mention that nobody believes it? Because, and I can't say this clearly enough, nobody believes it. Alexander Isak is digging his heels in, yes. Newcastle are already out there shopping for replacements, so why would they be looking to bring in two forwards, Luke, if they weren't going to sell Isak? But we can all revisit this in a few weeks' time, Luke, when he's a Liverpool player, and, well, he who laughs last and all that, my friend. Let's move on, though, to, well, a bit of a mad story here. So Curtis Jones builds his ideal Liverpool player from past and present teammates. This is what he's gone for. Best left foot, Mohamed Salah. Although, obviously, you can tell there Curtis Jones hasn't played with me. I'm left-footed Curtis, but, you know. Right foot, Cody Gakpo. Quickest, Darwin Núñez. Strongest, Ibrahima Konate. Best free kick taker? No, not him. Harvey Elliott. Next up, best skills, Diaz. Best football IQ, Alexis McAllister. Now, if you could combine all of those traits into one player, that'd be an impressive player. Now, Craig Hope of the Daily Mail has said, Eddie Howe, speaking on if Newcastle can tell Isak that he has to stay, it's not that straightforward, unlike Mr. Luke Edwards' story there. It's not that straightforward, otherwise we would have done it already. We'd have done it a long time ago, said Eddie Howe. I don't think we're in a position to be able to do that currently. I know which one of these stories I believe, and I'm certainly in Craig Hope's camp on this. Next, Parma turned down a €35 million offer from Liverpool for defender Giovani Leoni, holding out for their €40 million valuation, according to Tutto Mercado Web. Now look, we do know Liverpool have an interest in Giovani Leoni. That's not breaking news. Romano, Ornstein, I believe, Paul Joyce, and many other very credible journalists have mentioned it. Romano does say Liverpool are becoming more and more interested in Giovani Leoni. Their interest in the defender is getting stronger and more concrete. Look, he must be one hell of a player, because to bring in an 18-year-old and think that if an injury happens to Konate or Gomez, that this lad will be ready to play week in and week out, he must have something about him. Now, of course, Inter Milan looking for him as well. They're thought to be favourites in this pursuit, but there's no denying Liverpool's interest is certainly there, and apparently very strong. Let's move on to speak about Costas, because a lot of people have been asking what's happening with Costas, and the truth is I didn't know. Lewis Steele, speaking with our friends at Anfield Index, has said this: Costas Tsimikas could leave Liverpool before the summer transfer window shuts. Could, but no definitives there. Look, it is the sensible play in my opinion. I'd keep Andy Robertson around, play him, for the year he has left in his contract, and see if he can win himself a new one. But let's wait and see how it pans out. For me, though, I think he's probably right, and I would expect Costas, if we move a left-back on, to be the one that goes. Caught offside of a bit of a mad story here, and I don't know if there's a bit of banter floating around today, because this story said Liverpool are one of many clubs who are monitoring Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba. Now look, there's probably truth to that. Carlos Baleba is a player that we all know is a really good midfielder. Brighton, very difficult club to negotiate with to get players out once they bring them in, and usually they get very high transfer fees. But can't help but feel this is a little bit of maybe tomfoolery because Manchester United are sniffing around Carlos Baleba. And speaking of that, shall we talk about some more tomfoolery here? Because Empire of the Cup, and I'm not calling those guys fools, but this story does make me smile. They've written to say Liverpool are interested in beating Newcastle to the signature of Brentford's Johan Visa now that they can't sign Alexander Isak. Yeah, because we're also convinced we aren't signing Alexander Isak, aren't we? That we're going after Newcastle's 28-year-old target who we've shown no interest in before that. But maybe we're just reminding Newcastle once again that stop the silliness, because we can be equally as silly, but we have the appeal to do it. Next up, let's talk Lee Ryder, who said Newcastle United insiders fear that Alexander Isak has kicked his last ball for the Magpies after attempted clear-the-air talks behind the scenes failed. Isak's head is now considered to be completely turned towards a move to Liverpool. So let's see if Mr. Luke Edwards of the Telegraph is right and if they're able to keep him. See, what I don't understand here is we know that they're going for Johan Visa because, well, they've been pursuing him all summer. We also know that they're interested in the likes of Nicholas Jackson, Gonzalo Ramos, and a few others. So my question keeps being to Mr. Luke Edwards or anybody else who thinks Newcastle are going to keep Isak, why are they going after two forwards? Isak hasn't had a pre-season, so whatever happens, he's not going to be available to Newcastle till probably after the September international break. They're now having a great window so far, albeit there could be a bit of chink in the door, a bit of chink of light. Is that the phrase I'm looking for? Yeah, there could be a chink of light at the end of the tunnel for them in the centre-back search, because it looks as if they're having a breakthrough in talks from Malik Thiaw, of AC Milan. So there could be some good news there. That also in turn gives us an even freer run at Mark Gay. So watch that space. Obviously we play Crystal Palace tomorrow, but after that, will we see Liverpool's pursuit move along? I don't know, because the Giovani Leoni stuff, well, that's kind of throwing a spanner in the works. Do I believe that Liverpool have had an offer refused? No, I don't, to be honest with you. I do believe that there's interest there, absolutely. More than credible sources say that. But the bid that's been rejected, I don't know about that. Let's wait and see on it. But let me know what you guys think about it. That is kind of where we're at for now, ladies and gentlemen. A reminder, tonight I'm going to be a little bit later than normal. But the stories that we want to talk about here today so far, Luke Edwards' ridiculous story, in my opinion, that the player is going to be kept at Newcastle no matter what. Don't think that that's going to happen, Luke. And if it does, I think it's going to get pretty toxic up there in Newcastle. And I wouldn't want to be in that dressing room personally with all this going on. So I don't think there's any truth to that. I think Luke is probably right in what he's been briefed by sources, but do we think it's actually real? Absolutely not. Next up, Costas. Do we think he's going to move on? Carlos Baleba, Johan Visa. What do you think about those stories? And are you okay if Liverpool bring in one forward and one centre-back? Because my conversations with you guys over the last few days, lots of people think two centre-backs is what's required. And to be honest, if we bring in an 18-year-old, I still have my concerns that would be a little bit short, especially of experience. So that is where I'm at for now, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys tonight at about 9:30, but do check your notifications. And again, if you want to join us for the player ratings or whatever, make sure that you scan this QR code and join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. Well, as well as doing the likes of player ratings and stuff, we'll be giving you guys as much transfer info as we can. Much love. Bye-bye.